of water?
It's yes, it's mainly the surface tension.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to remember all the terminology relating to physics. Now we have another big bubble inside. Oops. So yes, the bubbles can burst. And now the teacher is injecting another bubble inside.
You can see the resistance when the needle, they try to pull the needle out of the water. You can see the resistance and they will change the shape.
Right.
It's because of the adhesion between the needle surface and the water.
That's one tough crystal ball.
You see, the two bubbles did not become one, and they exist separately. So we can see there are different phenomena in different environments. And now we are getting these bubbles out.
The bubbles out of the big one. It's unbelievable. You can basically do anything to that fragile water ball. So last time in the Shenzhou 9 mission last year, China's first female astronaut, Liu Yang, she performed a set of biological experiments, and this time the physical one.
I think the target for this time is try to inspire our young generations for the interest in outer space explorations. You can understand that we are facing all kinds of challenges, and we do need more engineers and science devoted their life into this field.
Now, Yanqing, are you considering a change of major?
I will consider that.
So really, this is a perfect combination of education and space exploration.
Yes.
You can see the red liquid is spreading out in this water ball.
So before the launching the mission, lots of scientists actually involved heavily in such objects. They try to design experiments which can be doable in space, and also they need to somehow validate existing theories or explore new physics.
Now all of a sudden the water ball has turned red.
Okay, let's have a close-up of this red water ball and enjoy this beauty.
This is really pretty. It seems that the colors are floating inside the water ball.
I love to play with bubble when I was young. I think if I would have a bubble like this, I would be happy for all the day.
You will be very interested in physics if it doesn't burst. So you said one of the teachers on the ground was your physics teacher back in school.
Yeah.
The lady or the gentleman?
The lady, the female.
The lady. Now where is that water ball?
Absorbing the water ball by papers.
So it's gone.
Yeah, papers.
Alright, now I think she's turning to another experiment. So much for water.
For example, in a weightless environment, we can have more evenly distributed and bigger semiconducting crystal for the basic research of materials. And by comparing the differences between Earth and sky and space, we can optimize the procedures on the ground. For example, the cold atomic clock will be more stable in frequency, and it can also be used for the future high-precision satellite navigation positioning system. In a word, the space technology's development and application has been penetrated into our lives, and I believe in the future we can have more scientific research and utilize the space resources to benefit mankind. Do you have more questions? We will be very glad to communicate
now
with you.
The Q&A period. The teacher has completed all the experiments, and the students on the ground are raising their questions.
亚平老师您好，刚才的水实
Good
验我觉得
morning.
非常非常的有趣。我还想知道的
And
就
I
是
would
这
like
些实验
to
用水是您们从地
know
面直接带
if
上去
this
的呢，
water
还是在
is
天
brought
空生
by
活中
you
循环再
from
生
the
的，
ground
之后
or
这些水
recycled
还能
in
够
the
被回
space.
收起来再利用
Can
吗？
this water be recycled for further use?
这是一个很好的问题。
Actually,
It is a
water in
very
space can be
good
very
question.
expensive. NASA, for example, has this program to convert body fluid, for example, sweat and urine, even into drinking water.
All this drinking water in Tiangong, in Shenzhou, is brought from the earth, and in space, recycling of resources is very important. It requires advanced technologies and very comprehensive design. Therefore, for the short-term trip,
That reminds me a significant social issue. How do we use energy and all these environmental resources wisely for young generations? Because in a very limited space, we do need to consider all these consequences of waste.
We now have very advanced cargo ships transporting crews and supplies to the space stations. However, it's still very expensive, and space, I mean outer space is huge, but the space inside the module is a luxury.
Yes.
还有哪位同学想要提问？
okay, do you have more
来，我们
questions?
找一个这边的吧。
And now
这个第二
we're
个同
seeing
学
a question period
哎，对，
from students on the ground to
亚平老
teachers
师，您在太空中
300
能看
kilometers
到太空
above
垃圾
Earth.
吗？天宫1号是否
And,
有应对太空垃圾的
We're watching this
措施
live
呢？
broadcast, and that's made possible by a series of communication satellites. For example, the Tianlian relay communication
在飞
satellites.
行的这几天呢，我们还没有看到
During these
太
few
空垃圾
days, we did not see any space garbage, but we all know that they do
虽然
exist.
它与航天器相撞的
Although the chances for them to collide with the module is very low, but they are very large in amount. So if the collision happens, the consequences will be grave. Therefore, before the launching, we had a pre-analysis for this space garbage, and we also made relative preventive measures to ensure our safety. Thank you.
好，还有哪位同学想
And
提问？
any other questions?
好，请这边这位男生，这个第6排的第3位。
If you've just joined us, we're
王主任老师好。
watching a live
我想问
coverage
您一
of
个问
China's
题，
first
就是
lecture
您在太
from
空中教学过
space.
很长时间，那
And now
么
students
您
are
采取了
raising
哪
their
些措施
questions
来
to
应
the
对
teacher
失重环境对身体的
astronaut.
不利影响？谢谢。
小明老师。
这个问题还是请指令长来给你回答
Now
吧。
she's referring that question to the commander of the Shenzhou 10 mission, 聂海胜.
In space, the astronauts will suffer from weightlessness, noise, and a cramped space. Weightlessness may lead to the cardiovascular disorder, bone loss, and muscular atrophy. To reduce negative impacts, we sometimes do physical exercises, use medicines, and adjust our body liquid. And we also brought with us some equipment like penguin suit and the spring exerciser, and bicycle ergometers. And this small table is adjusted from a bicycle ergometer, and then later we can reorganize it and make it a bicycle that is suitable to be exercised in space.
Really, to become an astronaut requires intensive training and rigorous selection process. It's almost tougher than anything most of us would ever experience.
And do you enjoy any view different from what you can see on the Earth? Do the stars twinkle? And do you see the UFOs? It's an interesting question. Yes, indeed, an interesting question. Through the window, we can see the beautiful Earth and the sun, the moon, and the stars, but we haven't seen the UFO. As we are now in the outer space, without the atmosphere, we can see the stars are shining brightly, but they do not twinkle. And in the absence of the atmospheric dispersion, we do not see the blue sky, but the dark black sky. And also something very interesting, we can see 16 times of sunrises and sunsets because we orbit around the Earth every 90 minutes. Thank you.
Well, astronauts in space would have to follow Beijing time during their journeys. Otherwise, time or a day, the concept of a day in space can be very abstract. Because she just said that they usually experience 16 sunrises in the period of 24 hours. So following Beijing time is probably the best and easiest way for them to keep track of time.
And thank you for your blessing. And I also would like to say to you, I hope you can study hard and learn more knowledge to contribute to the Chinese dream. The deep universe is a place full of secrets, and exploration is a never-ending journey. Let's work hard to that end. The space dream always carries some weight, and the science dream will always come true. Goodbye, dear students.
All right, that's the end of China's first lecture from space. The class lasted about 45 minutes, and the female astronaut is the teacher of this class. She performed experiments based on Newton's laws of motion, water tension, and many interdisciplinary aspects. Now, the two physics teachers on the ground are taking over from the astronauts to tell the students what they're going to see on Earth. They're going to perform about the same experiments, but the results would be very different.
Lecture. Although we have limited lecture time, we still have more time to explore after class. And today, we enjoyed a very wonderful lecture. And I believe this lecture will inspire us to explore this great universe. After returning to the Earth, the astronauts will have more chances to communicate with you, and you can ask them questions later.